only takes a second for safety to save your life. Every NIBI project has a right-to-know area where you can find all the job site safety information and forms, including NIBI's safety program and code of safe practices, sub-IIPPs, SDS binders, pre-task meeting forms, equipment inspection forms, training verification sheets, and other assorted safety information. All employees on NIBI job sites are required to follow NIBI's safety program and code of safe practices, which is posted in the Right to Know area. You can also obtain a copy from NIBI supervision at any time. The most effective way to prevent muscle strains is to stretch daily before beginning work. NIBI requires stretch and flex to be completed at the start of every shift. Many crews do this stretching during their daily pre-task planning. All crews are expected to discuss the day's planned work at the beginning of each shift. This includes identifying any hazards associated with that work and how the team plans to mitigate those hazards. These pre-shift meetings are for the benefit of the crew. As a member of the crew, you are responsible to provide your own knowledge and experience to help your team be as successful as possible.
Keep all material and debris off.
Share what's worked for you in the past or a lesson you've learned that might benefit the rest of the team.
You guys have been doing a great job out here. Let's have a safe, productive week. Thank you.
You know, we start our days off and we stretch and flex, and we take that opportunity not to just loosen up the soft tissue and the muscles, but also to talk about how the day's going to go, what activities are going to be going on throughout the day. Having those pre-task plans that we talk about every morning about who's doing what and how many guys are going to be doing it and what the steps are going to be to take in order to get it done. It allows the workers to really plan their day mentally.
The daily pre-task plan is a live document and must be kept with the crew throughout the day so it can be added to or modified as tasks or conditions change. This is especially important when unexpected tasks arise.
We have a delivery coming with all this material right here, so we're going to get it.
For example, if a delivery wasn't expected but one shows up, the crew must stop and regroup on the pre-task plan before continuing. Discuss any items not already covered at the start of the shift, such as forklift and rigging procedures and proper lifting positions. While the foreman is primarily responsible to ensure the pre-task plan is complete and revisited as necessary throughout the day, the crew is responsible to help ensure this is done. Help your foreman remember to add to and modify the pre-task plan throughout the day.
We just want to make sure everybody's safe, stay out of the forklift driver's way, we get everything staged.
The Right to Know area also contains the emergency action plan for the project. Every project's emergency action plan is different, so make sure you are familiar with the plan for your job site. Report all injuries and incidents immediately to NIBI supervision, no matter how minor. This ensures that the proper first aid treatment is rendered so the injury does not get any worse than necessary. It also allows the project team to learn from a minor issue in order to avoid a major one. For example, if you twist your ankle in a slab depression and don't report it, someone else may trip into the same depression but break their ankle instead. By not reporting the minor injury, the project team doesn't have a chance to fix the hazard before a more serious injury occurs. Incident investigations must be completed within 24 hours of any incident. The purpose of an incident investigation is not to find fault and assign blame, but to help the project team improve job site procedures and conditions. Investigations of near misses are also important opportunities to improve job site safety and must be reported. A near miss is any incident which doesn't cause bodily injury or property damage, but had the potential to cause bodily harm. When 911 is necessary, NIBI prefers to make the call, but we certainly don't want to delay treatment to the injured person if NIBI supervision is not in the immediate vicinity. Use good judgment and make the call when necessary. At the same time, direct someone to notify NIBI of the 911 call. In an emergency, follow the direction of NIBI supervision. If you are unable or unwilling to help, then simply stay out of the way. When calling 911, you must clearly state the location of the job site, the sex, age, and condition of the employee, and a brief explanation of the cause of the injury if known. Stay with the injured person until NIBI supervision arrives and relieves you. Examples of when to call 911 include if the injured worker cannot be moved, any loss of consciousness, chest pains, or an active shooter. We'd rather err on the side of caution, so when in doubt, call. In case of evacuation, you will hear a series of air horn blasts. Confirm with your job site's emergency action plan or NIBI supervision what the signal is for your job site. Make sure you know where the job site evacuation rally point is. Report to the rally point for a head count and do not leave until released by NIBI supervision. Do not delay exiting the project to take pictures or video, as this could pose a danger to yourself or others. In cases where the media may show up to the job site, direct them to NIBI supervision. NIBI has one designated spokesperson to handle all media inquiries, so please refrain from speaking to the media. We want to ensure that the most accurate information is relayed to the public and that people's privacy is respected.
We are responsible for every person that works on that site, and whether it's a subcontractor or one of our employees. We're responsible for their safety, and their safety is important to us, and we want them to be able to leave that project safely.
You can make money, you can do everything else, but if you didn't have a safe job, you didn't have a successful job.
Correct. I agree 100%. And with a safe job, you do make money. You've got a safe job where your production is a lot higher, and the guys take more pride in their work if you've got a clean, safe project.
You have the right to know about every material on the job site and how it may adversely affect your health. All safety data sheets can be found in the NIBI Right to Know area. Be sure to read the safety data sheets of the materials you handle to ensure you know the potential hazards and the proper storage and cleanup requirements. Safety data sheets include information on PPE, health hazards, first aid measures, storage requirements, and any other information that will help you use the material safely. If you are unclear about the proper handling and storage of a material, ask your supervisor. You must be trained on the hazards of any material you work with or that are in your work area. Do not hesitate to ask questions if you are concerned about a particular material, and always wear the appropriate PPE indicated in the safety data sheet. All containers must be labeled, even smaller containers like spray bottles that are temporary in nature. We don't want someone to accidentally spray a poisonous substance on a surface because they think it's a general cleaning product, for instance. Many of NIBI's projects are wood frames, and therefore fire prevention is extremely important. All hot work requires a hot work permit reviewed by the crew and signed off by NIBI supervision. When performing hot work, remove all combustibles or cover those that cannot be removed with fire blankets. Always maintain a fire extinguisher within 10 feet of your work area, in addition to the emergency extinguishers provided by NIBI. Always maintain a fire watch in all areas where your work could cause a fire to break out. Flammable liquids must be kept in approved containers and approved fire-rated cabinets, and at least 50 feet away from hot work. Only self-closing safety cans are allowed on NIBI projects. Use caution around hot motors and fill tanks carefully to avoid spillage. There is no smoking on NIBI job sites anywhere other than designated smoking areas. Fire extinguishers must be located on every floor within 75 feet of any worker on the job site at any time. They can generally be found near the stairways and access egress points. Do not block access to fire extinguishers with materials or equipment. Replace used or defective fire extinguishers immediately. To properly use a fire extinguisher, remember the acronym PASS, P-A-S-S. Pull the pin. Aim at the base of the fire. Squeeze the trigger. and sweep back and forth.
What I've experienced is that they want us all to feel like we have a voice, that everybody's opinion about safety is important, that everybody from an intern all the way up to Bob can talk openly about what safety means.
Absolutely. I've even seen Bob on job sites stop, pick up something that's dangerous, cover a hole, bring attention to it without making a big deal about it. As far as blaming someone, it's most important from the top down that the issue is resolved.
All workers must be protected from potential fall exposures of 6 feet or more. Positive means of fall protection must be used whenever possible, including guardrails, safety nets, safety warning lines, and controlled access zones. A fall protection arrest system is a last resort measure to be used only when the fall exposure cannot be eliminated. A clean job site is a safe job site. It's also a more productive one. Keeping access egress paths and stairways clear of debris and material is especially important. NIBI wants at least a 3-foot wide path of travel through the job site at all times. Do your part to make this happen. Also, be aware of slip and trip hazards that can be easily moved out of the way. Clear hazards as you see them. Be sure to keep your work area clean and organized to avoid slip and trip hazards, as well as pinch points and awkward body positions. Access egress paths and stairways must be well lit. NIBI provides all access egress lighting, and all workers must provide their own task lighting. Low light conditions significantly increase the risk of injury. Ask your supervisor for task lighting when needed. Also, be aware that headlamps are not accepted by Cal OSHA as adequate task lighting.
I think we have to expect that people show up in their proper mind, for lack of a better phrase, right? Where they're feeling well, they've been well rested, they're not hungover, and if they are, they need to tell their foreman, hey, I'm a little under the weather today, I've got the flu, whatever, I came to work because I had to. I'm not at my best, so.
Yeah, no supervisor is going to fault you for that.
Right.
NIBI's Fitness for Duty policy maintains a zero tolerance for the use of alcohol or drugs on the job site. If you take prescription medication that may alter your ability to perform your regular duties, you have a responsibility to notify your supervisor so they can assign you appropriate tasks as necessary. NIBI personnel are also subject to post-incident and reasonable suspicion drug testing. Remember that being under the influence poses a danger to you and your coworkers. NIBI's disciplinary policy is 3 steps: verbal warning for the first offense, written citation for the second offense, and suspension or termination for the third offense. However, certain actions are grounds for immediate termination, such as harassment, horseplay, gross negligence or flagrant violations, possession of deadly weapons, possession or use of drugs or alcohol, violent actions, or a poor attitude towards safety.
Each individual is responsible for everyone on the job. Walking by an unsafe condition and not doing anything about it is irresponsible, and it's not part of our culture. So, and everyone has a voice on our projects, whether it be an apprentice carpenter that's the first day on the job, or a 20-year veteran, or a superintendent. They all have equal measure as it comes to identifying unsafe conditions or to be responsible for the safety of the whole job.
Anyone can stop an unsafe act, and it's everyone's responsibility to keep themselves and their coworkers safe. NIBI's focus is on education in order to keep people safe and working. So please ask questions if you're unsure of how a task needs to be done according to NIBI policy. Yellow hard hats identify NIBI employees who are new to the company and its policies and procedures, and therefore require more time and attention from supervisors. Generally, once they have been with the company for 3 months and completed an OSHA 10-hour training, they are eligible for promotion to wearing a white hard hat. Red danger tape means do not cross without permission. If you come across red danger tape in the course of your work, do not enter the area without permission of the person who posted the danger tape. The danger tape should be tagged with the date and contact information for the person or company to call to coordinate access into the area if you need to enter. Crossing danger tape without permission is subject to removal from the job site. Yellow caution tape means proceed with caution. Yellow caution tape is used when permission to enter is not needed, but potential hazards exist in the area. Such hazards are generally easy to spot. Be sure to avoid the hazard while you are in the area. Always practice safe lifting techniques, bending and lifting with the knees, not the back. When moving long or heavy loads, get help. Lift as a team on signal and set the load down at the same time. Beware of moving equipment as their blind spots are significant. Never cross the path of mobile equipment without making eye contact and gaining permission from the operator first. If you see something or someone suspicious, report it immediately to NIBI supervision. Trust your instinct, as it may help us to keep an unsafe person off the project. NIBI's Heat Illness Prevention Program can be found in the Right to Know area. It is your responsibility to stay hydrated by drinking plenty of water. Don't wait until you are thirsty, as this is a late sign of dehydration. Shade must be provided during rest breaks when temperatures are forecasted to reach 80 degrees. At temperatures of 95 degrees or more, your employer must assign a monitor whose only duty is to ensure that everyone on the crew is drinking enough water and taking rest breaks in the shade as needed. Heat stroke can be fatal, so it is important to know the signs of early symptoms of heat illness. Watch for signs of cramping, dizziness, nausea, disorientation, excessive sweating, or hot, dry skin, and report these symptoms immediately to your supervisor.
As we say, everybody has the right to stop an activity or stop the job if they don't feel like something's being done safely.
Your gut's your gut, and usually when you have a bad feeling about things, they don't go right.
Yeah.
And so I tell people that when they have a sense of that, stop what you're doing. Let's relook at it.
I guarantee you that, that employee would never be questioned about that decision or about that suggestion.
All confined space locations must be identified with signage. No worker may enter a confined space without proper training. In addition, NIBI requires all confined spaces to be tested for air quality before workers are allowed to enter. Also, a rescue plan must be in place prior to entry to ensure safe rescue by trained personnel should the need arise. PPE is any equipment that is worn to protect any part of your body. NIBI job sites require all workers to wear hard hats, ANSI-approved safety glasses. This includes prescription safety glasses with approved side shields, reflective safety vests, shirts with 4-inch sleeves, sturdy work pants, and ANSI-approved work boots. Proper work boots cover the ankle and are made primarily of leather with an impact-resistant treaded sole. Many workers complain that PPE is uncomfortable to wear when worn properly, but it is worth its weight in gold if it's able to ensure your ability to see, hear, and even breathe. When PPE gets damaged, replace immediately by contacting your supervisor. Clear safety glasses must be worn when working indoors. Dark safety glasses can only be worn outside or when used to protect against a hazard such as welding flash. Face shields are required on NIBI job sites when performing any task in which small particles may fly towards the face. For example, grinding or cutting with chop saws. Be mindful when removing face shields that dust buildup on the rim doesn't fall down into your eyes. When performing overhead work in which potential falling fragments of dust is a hazard, goggles must be worn. When handling concrete or grout, impermeable gloves and boots are necessary. Metatarsal guards must be used when performing a task that could crush the feet, such as using a portable soil compactor or jackhammer. Hearing protection must be used whenever you have to raise your voice within 3 feet of a person to be heard. Be sure to wear hearing protection properly, as hearing damage is irreparable.
We only accept clean-shaven.
If using a respirator, you must be medically evaluated and fit tested to ensure proper protection. Beware that not all respirators fit all faces. Respirators must be cleaned and properly stored at all times, including during breaks. Properly dispose of respirators in trash receptacles provided on the job site. PPE is a last defense against injury. It does not eliminate the hazard, it only attempts to protect you from it. For this reason, you must always try to eliminate or reduce the hazard first.
If they see a safety infraction out there, they have the responsibility and the
authorization
to stop or get the situation corrected.
And our people are empowered to call out anybody on safety. Management down. I've had employees call out our bosses and say, hey, you're not wearing boots. You're not allowed over here. We're doing something and it's dangerous. And
same with even our subs. I've seen them, call out other people as well.
Silica dust must be eliminated at its source whenever possible, generally using either wet methods or vacuum attachments. Simply putting on PPE or adding ventilation is not an acceptable response to visible dust on the project. A personal fall arrest system must only be used when a fall exposure cannot be eliminated. Do not use a fall protection harness unless you have been properly trained. NIBI maintains a zero-tolerance policy for fall protection, meaning that any worker exposed to a 6-foot or greater fall will be potentially suspended or terminated from the project. Therefore, when in doubt, ask. Also, remember to have a fall rescue plan in place that has been reviewed by your crew so that quick action can be taken in case of a fall. A worker hanging on a harness only has 5 to 15 minutes to be rescued before the harness can cut off circulation to the legs and threaten his health and even his life. Make sure the rescue plan is thought through and discussed with the crew, and that the necessary equipment is readily available before tying off. NIBI relies on every worker to keep the job site safe. Always practice good judgment. Always follow safety rules. And never take chances. Your life depends on it.
I think of this as one big family. It's truly a family business. There's family members in the business, but everyone that works here is part of our family. And I think our job is to make sure that everybody goes home safe and well, at least as well as they came to work each day. And I think we have a huge responsibility to make sure that that happens.
It's our responsibility and obligation, which we feel very strongly, to make sure that they're trained and have the proper equipment to be able to work safely, and that they have that understanding that that is first and foremost what we want from them. We need them to do good work, we need them to be productive, but before anything, we need them to work safely.